desktop PHP training. I just want to make one more page. Now we are discussing one of the most important content of HTML, that is HTML form. As you know, each and every application contains some forms like sign up form, login form, contact us form. How can we do this here? How can we construct a form? So again, here you will use HT, then when you will click on enter, then it will provide you basic tags like HTML head and body. I just want to give title of this page as form. Now, if you want to construct a form, it may be sign up form, it may be feedback form, it may be login form, any type of form. You can create with the help of a tag, that is what? Form tag. With the help of what? Form tag. Now, it is one of the most important tag, guys. So inside the form tag, I'm just using here a table, or we will use a property alignment center, or we will pass a border equals to border equals to 1 6. As you know, table is combination of rows and columns. I just want to take name from user. So here you will use a tr, because we just want to display a form in a well manner. So inside the tr you will use td, or inside the td you can type name. Look guys, inside the second td, it means second column, I just want to take value of name from user. If you want to take anything from user, then you will mostly use a tag that is called input tag. And guys, input tag doesn't contain closing tag, and if a tag doesn't contain closing tag, then we will use self closing, so we have a tag input tag, or inside the input tag we have a property type property, or inside the type property you can pass any value. So inside the type property we can pass what? Text. So we have a row tr. Inside this tr we have two columns, two tds. First one, we are printing name, and I just want to take property, I just want to take value of name from user, then we will use input tag. Input tag contains two properties. First one is type, and second one of the most important property, that is name. When you will submit this form, then as you know, in this diagram we already discussed about it. When we will submit a form, the form data will transfer to our backend application or server application, and server application will store this data inside some variables. But how can we get data in server application of these fields? Then you will use a property, or one of the most property is what? Name. So we can read this input field data at server side by using name property, and each and every input tag contains unique names. So I'm just giving you name here. I'm just giving you name here. When you will refresh, I'm just giving you name here. When you will refresh, okay, we will run this. That's a new page. See here, first column is name. Inside the second column you can type any text. And when we will submit this form, then you will get this data at server side by using name property. And what is the name of this tag? Uname. Sir, I just want to take password from user. So you will use tr, then td, and in first td we will use in first td we will pass password, and I just want to take value from user. I just want to take value of password from user. How can you do this? Input type we will use what? Password. See, When you will use input type text, then it will display here text box, and inside the text box you will type anything, but the text content will show here. See, I'm just using ABCD. Fine. But inside the password box, when you will type any content, then it will display like this in form of bullets. It will not show here. So what is the difference between input type text and input type password? When you will use text, then it will display all the content here. When you will use password, then it will hide content. Fine. I just want to submit this form. I just want to submit this form. Again, you will use tr, or we will use one empty td, and inside the second td, one of the important thing, inside the second td we will use a button. So here I'm just using submit button. Inside the second td, here you will use a button. You can either use button tag, or you can also use input type, or inside the input type you will use a value submit. So when you will pass input type submit, then you will get a button, or which type of button? You will get a submit button. See, it's a form in which we are using three input tag. First one is type text, second one is type password, and third type is submit button. Now guys, one of the most important thing we are discussing now. I just want to pass Rahul as a name, or I am just giving password for Rahul. Sir, as you told us, when we will submit our form, this data will transfer to a application or a program which is supported by, or which is run by server. See, when you will submit this form, then this data will transfer to same page. Which page? Form.html. But here we are using three input fields, but we are giving only two name here. First one is uname and second one is password. So when you will submit this form, we will transfer data of you, name and password only. We are not transferring data of this submit button. What is the reason behind it? Because we are not giving any value in name property of this submit button. So if you will pass a name, then we can transfer value of that particular input into server. Otherwise we can't transfer value to server. So here we are passing only two fields value. First one is uname and second one is password. See, when you will put some entries in this form, name Deepak, password, you can type any password. When you will click on submit, see guys, you will receive data in same page, because we are not here giving address of or name of any server side application or server page. So here you can see what is form.html, our page. After question mark, you can decide, or you can find out how many parameters, it is known as parameters, how many parameters this URL contains. So see here, this URL contains two parameters, and two parameters. First parameter is uname, and you passed Deepak as a uname, and second and symbol, the second parameter is what? PWD, and you passed 1 2 3 4 5 as PWD. So one of the most important tag of your HTML is form, because with the help of this form tag you can construct a sign up page, or a login page, or any type of page, contact us page, any type of page. Fine guys. Next, first one is for name, second one is for password. Sir, I just want to take city name from user. Okay, next you will use tr for next row, td. What you want to take? I just want to take a city as input, and inside the city we do not want to use input type like text or anything else. We just want to use a drop down. So if you want to use a drop down, then you will use what? Select a tag. So select is basically used to choose one value from multiple choice. Fine. So if you want a drop down list, then you will use select tag. Inside the select tag, you will use option tag to give n number of options corresponding to this select tag. I'm just giving some options like first city is Indore. Okay. Again, you can pass second option for Bhopal, then third option for Gwalior, and you can pass n number of values with the help of option text. See, when you will refresh your page, then you can see drop down, but it is not showing inside the table. Why? Because we are not surround this with the help of TD. Okay, my mistake. Here you have to use TD. When you will refresh, then see guys, you can choose any city like Bhopal, Gwalior, Indore. And if you want to choose multiple cities from this drop down, then you have to use a property or a attribute of select tag, that is what? Multiple. You will use multiple. See, now you are able to choose multiple values. Fine guys. So if you want a drop down, then you will use select tag. Okay, fine. Next, I just want to take value for genders. How can you do this? And you will use tr, then you will use tr, or inside the tr you will use some tds. Inside the tr you will use some tds. Fine. Yes guys, so inside the tr we will use one more td. Inside this tr we will use one more td. I just want to take inside this tr we will use one td. I just want to take gender for user, gender from user. So td gender, or we will use radio buttons. Radio buttons, if you want to choose only a value from multiple options, then you will use radio buttons. So gender, then inside the td we will put first value for, or first value for male. I just want to take first value for male. You will use input type and radio, and second for female, female. Then again you will use input type radio. See, when you will refresh, but the problem is that you can choose any one from both values, but here you can check both values. So when you will use radio button, then if we want to choose only one value from multiple radio buttons, if we want to choose only one value from multiple radio buttons, then we will put all the input names same. So here we will put R, or here also we will put R. Now you can choose only one value from both radio buttons. Now you can choose only one value from both radio buttons. See, either you can choose male or you can choose female. So input type text, you will get text box. Input type password, you will get password box. If you want to choose multiple values, then you will use select. If you want to choose only one value from multiple input, then you will use radio. But in radio button, you will pass all the name of tags should be set. Next, sir, I just want to take a checkbox. Okay, here first TD is empty, and inside the second TD, I just want to use a checkbox. So input type checkbox, or here you will pass I agree all terms and conditions. I agree all terms and conditions. Fine. So checkbox is mainly used to take multiple values. You can check multiple checkbox at a time. Fine. When you will click on this, then you can proceed. Or input type checkbox, input type checkbox, you will surround inside the TD. So it is some common tags for your form which we will apply in any form, or this all are tags of HTML1. This text belongs to HTML1. Okay, this text belongs to HTML first version. So so today we are discussed about some tags, some properties, and some tags of form. Fine. I'm just giving you assignment. You have to create you have to create a gallery. Fine. Here you will give a title name for gallery, and in this gallery you will use 9 images, 3 rows and 3 columns. In this gallery you will use 9 images, 3 rows and 3 columns. Fine. Or here you will put picture of Indore, Bhopal, and some other cities. When you will click on Indore, so it's not a image only, it's a basically image button. When you will click on Indore, then it will display one more page. In this page, top of the page you will show Indore, then you will display one, two, or three best images of Indore. After that, here you will put all the details about Indore. Same type of page you will create for Bhopal and other cities. So your first assignment for today is, here you will give a title and you will make a gallery. Inside the gallery you will put 9 images for 9 cities, different cities. Or when you will click on a particular city, then it will show a it will display a page. It will display a page. In this page we will see upper city name, then 3 images of city and about the city, all description. So how many page we will create to complete this assignment? Guys,
10.
10. 1 for gallery and 9 for corresponding to cities. 1 for gallery and 9 for corresponding to cities. Take a screenshot of it.